Hi, a Rosie math teacher coming to you from my third period accelerated 7th grade math class. Today we are learning lesson 6-2, slope of a line, textbook page 357. Everybody in my room is there right now. Yesterday we learned about rise over run. This conversation today will continue to use rise over run to help us find the slope of a line. And I'll talk more about the rise over run in a moment. First, you need to draw my childhood home. I grew up in Maine most of my life, and this was a house. It wasn't quite that skinny, but it was a house my father had built, and what I'm trying to show you here is the front yard. You could only see the upper level of the house, but if you walked down the hill into the backyard, you could see the basement or lower level of the house. But it was, from the back, it looked like a two-story. Does everybody understand what I'm describing? We don't have a lot of hills here in Florida, so my kids sometimes have a hard time understanding this. Anyhow, this is representing me. This is representing going down a hill, otherwise known in math class as a slope. When you are going down a slope, do you realize that you are going from a certain point above sea level to a lower point above sea level? You're probably still above sea level, right? Otherwise, the sea would have drowned your place. Okay, so this is above sea level, but you are descending as you go down the slope. When you descend on a number line, do you enter into closer to the negative integers or further away? Say it, class. Closer to the negative integers. So when you are studying a line, a slope, from left to right, let me use my ruler, my very large ruler, from left to right. And if, as I travel from left to right, the slope goes down, do you think we're going to call that a negative slope or a positive slope? Negative slope. Everybody, please go to the bottom of your page, circle the part that says negative slope. Trace that negative slope that they show you. I did a horrible job tracing. I hope yours is much better. Okay? Do you understand what a negative slope looks like? Yes. Excellent. Now that you understand that, we are going to look at a positive slope. This time, a positive slope is an item that, when I use my ruler and I start on the left and run or travel to the right, it is going what? Higher and higher or lower and lower?
Higher and higher.
Higher and higher. So circle the words positive slope and understand that when you see a positive slope, it is called positive because the number values are going what? Higher. Higher values make it positive slope. Lower values make it negative slope. Do I have any questions on positive slope versus negative slope? All right, let us move on quite a bit, several pages. I'll tell you when, and I'll tell you the page. 364. Everybody go all the way to page 364. Guys, this is a lesson where they made things way more complicated than they needed to, so I have studied ahead of time how I can help you understand exactly the pieces you truly need. So on this page, you will see that they are showing you a zero slope. Please circle the words zero slope. Please trace the horizontal line. Zero slope is a horizontal line. This is how you want a floor to be. You want a floor to have zero slope. You don't want to enter the door to a room and have to go like you're walking down a hill, right? You don't want to enter a room and act like you're trying to climb a hill either. You want to enter a room and just walk smoothly across the surface of the floor, right? So what slope would every builder hope that every floor in the house has? Zero slope, right? Okay. So as soon as it is a horizontal line, you would say, oh, hey, that reminds me of a floor in a house. Therefore, I'm going to call that zero slope. Now, what happens if it is a vertical line? Please circle and trace that line. And what is it called? Undefined slope. All right, because we can't tell what the slope is when it's vertical. And when you can't even do that, then it is undefined. There's no way to tell what the slope is. Therefore, we just go, impossible. Therefore, it is undefined. Do I have any questions on the difference between zero slope and undefined slope? So let's review. If I see a graphed line that is completely and totally horizontal, I will know that is a what slope? Zero slope. If I see a line that is completely and totally vertical, I will know it is called what? Undefined slope. Do I have any questions? All right, here we go. Let's go over to the very first item on tonight's homework. Again, this is a single day lesson. You got this. It's not that bad. Item number 1. The graph shows the depth in feet of snow after each 2-hour period of a snowstorm. Guys, the page is 369. I should have told you that. 369 is the page for this item. Number 1. The graph shows the depth in feet of snow after each 2-hour period during a snowstorm. Find the slope of the line. So guys, first of all, when you are creating a slope on line, if it is a proportional relationship like this, will you make certain that you have a plotted point starting at point of origin?
Yes.
And then if you only have one other plotted point, will you make sure it does one of your intersections for an ordered pair? Okay, just like last night's homework. I just wanted to remind you of that. That's very blobby. I'll get rid of it. Okay, so snow depth. I want you now to find the slope of the line by using what we learned yesterday called what over what?
Rise over run.
Rise over run. Please write that reminder for yourself somewhere that you have white space on this page. Remember that if you are a runner and you're going to run track, before you can ever get on that track and run, you must first rise up out of your bed that morning. So rise before you run. And I know I can't run worth anything, but I still have to rise before I run. Okay, so let's choose any 2 dots that are side by side. You do you. I'm going to choose this plotted point and this plotted point. I just always like to pick 2 that are near each other. It just makes it easier. Okay, so now I'm going to do rise over run. Guys, I like to always do the rise going upward, so I always pick my lower plotted point. As I rise from that lower plotted point, now remember I stop at the floor that the other dot is on. Do you understand why I stop there? How I can tell where to stop? Good. And I need to talk about how much value has passed from this point where the plotted point is to the next level I'm pointing at. It's not 1. I need to look at how far it is from 0.5 to 1. Class, how far is it from 0.5 to 1?
0.5.
0.5. So what number is your rise?
0.5.
0.5. Please write that. And then I am ready to run. Run. Now, when I went up, that is always positive when you go up, correct?
Yes.
If I started at the other line, other dot, and went down, that wouldn't have been positive. What would it have been?
Negative.
Negative. Because if you want to know, truly, you could go down first and then left. I just prefer to always start at the lower plotted point, go up, and then figure out which direction. So, we'll go back to Miss Rosie's way. So I go up, and that was 0.5. Now I have to head right to get to my other plotted point. And how many spaces is it from 2 to 4? How many numbers?
2.
2. So what is your run?
2.
It is 2. And then on your calculator, what would you do?
Divide.
You would divide. What would go in the online calculator first?
0.5.
0.5 divided by what?
2.
2, and you would get what? Who knows it?
0.25.
0.25 is correct. And don't write yours on top of this other item. But you are correct. It would be 0.5 over 2, and it would equal 0.25. Now, rise over run is giving you your what? What is the term? Slope. So slope for item 1 equals what? 0.25. Do I have any questions on how we got that slope? All right, now answer this question for me. Is this slope positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive, because the value keeps going up. Exactly. All right, let's go to number 2. Let me erase what I had there and go to number 2. This time the graph shows the amount of money left after buying video games. Find the slope of the line. All right, guys, here we go. Oh, I have a question first. Is this a positive slope or a negative slope?
Negative.
Negative, you guys are so quick. So what do we already know about the slope? What sign will it need?
Negative.
It will need a negative sign. So we can already know that. Since it's a negative slope, might as well put an answer box with a negative symbol there because it's going to happen. All right, let's pick two plotted points. As you know, I'm going to pick the two that are the lowest. It's just what I always do. And then I'm going to what before I run? Rise. So pick the lower dot and rise up. Therefore positive. Now guys, do you recall you've got to look at the level that says what? 40. And then the other level that says what? 80. What is my distance from 40 to 80?
40.
It is 40. So what is my rise?
40.
40. Write that in the numerator space. Then I'm ready to what?
Run.
Run. And I'll make that line red. Ooh, did I just run backwards?
Yes.
Yes, I ran to the left. So what that would have been a negative amount here, but we've already put our negative sign, so we're all set. How much did we run from the 4 back to the 2? How much was it?
Negative.
It would have been negative 2, so that's why our negative sign there, we're good. So we're just going to record the 2. Now guys, when I put into my calculator 40 divided by 2, what would that equal? 20. And do we keep the negative symbol?
Yes.
Yes. Do we understand how number 2 is going to be negative 20? Okay, excellent. We're going to stop there for now. I hope that helps.